My name is David Hartsough, and as I said earlier, I've been inspired by and working with nonviolent movements since I met Martin Luther King back in 1955. So I've worked in the civil rights movement with my black brothers and sisters, where we challenged segregation in the United States. I spent most of my weekends in jail during my college years, singing freedom songs. I have been very involved in the movement to stop nuclear weapons in the United States, challenging nuclear weapons testing. Also was arrested, among other places, in front of the White House. I've been involved in the movement to try to stop the Vietnam War. I was a full-time lobbyist for the Quakers, and then was arrested many, many times. I refused to pay war taxes. I don't want my tax dollars to kill people in Iraq or Afghanistan or Iran or any country. These, I consider all of us brothers and sisters and children of God. I was also very involved in the Central America movement when the United States was funding dictatorships in Central America. And so we were blocking, with our body, blocking trains, carrying bombs and munitions to kill people in Central America. When my arm was broken by the sheriff's department, a friend of mine was run over by the train. So it's not saying that nonviolence will not mean any suffering, but I think, Martin Luther King once said, "One with God is a majority." If justice is on our side, but we need to have patience and determination and courage to stand up for what we believe in. Well, there are different ways of trying to define nonviolence. Mahatma Gandhi said nonviolence is the greatest power in the world, and yet the humblest imaginable. It's not a power that wins by clobbering somebody over the head or shooting a gun or knocking somebody out with your fist or throwing a stone. It's the power of love overcoming the power of hatred. And it's people power who are offering their own bodies and the truth to face the violence of injustice or oppression or lies. And it is, Gandhi also called it a truth force. No lie can live forever. And truth is our weapon. It's not lies or stones or guns or tear gas. And I think many of us that have been involved in nonviolent movements realize that the power of nonviolence, the power of truth, the power of active love, really is much more powerful than the power of the people with guns. And as we've seen in nonviolent people power movements around the world, this is not only morally right, it's also practical. It's interesting that there have been nonviolent people power movements all around the world in the last 50 years, where people committed to nonviolent struggle and to freedom and justice and democratic society have won against very oppressive governments who had tanks and unlimited tear gas and bullets and shells and even nuclear weapons. But the people won. And what we've discovered is that when people refuse to obey illegitimate authority, the government loses its power. And that's what's happened in South Africa. That's what happened in the people power movement in the Philippines. where the dictator Marcos was overthrown. It happened in Solidarity in Poland. It happened in Pinochet, a dictator in Chile that was overthrown by the people without any blood by the people. You know, there were some people killed by the dictator, but by staying nonviolent, they won over the police and the military to their side. And I think that by resorting to violence, we do what the government wants us to do, because they know how to deal with violence. And what they don't know how to do is how to deal with people who have found the courage to stand up for what they believe in, and not to do violence.